Today we're making a really fun pocket. I have a few examples and they look like this. So each of these side tie pockets has a little tie on the side like this silver bow. They open up like this and they have a flap on the left and a flap on the right. And you can see on the front we've also got two cute shirt collars. So inside we have quite a lot of interesting things going on. A little pocket on the left, a flappy pocket here, and lots of lovely collage. On the back we have 3 little pockets, 1, 2, 3. So great places for adding maybe a journal card or some extra paper. Each of these is made with just a single book page or a page from a magazine. So for these I've used either a page from this magazine, so quite thick paper, and for others I've just used a page from a book about art. As usual, I have my process steps to share with you today, so you can find these in Pinterest or you can take a screenshot. So let's get on and make some lovely pockets with a side tie. Today's video is part of a collaboration for Junk Journal July, which is led by Meg Journals over on Instagram, and I'm going to be participating in it hopefully every day throughout July. So what we have today is the launch of Junk Journal July, and each of us is creating an item or doing any sort of video using our favourite supplies. So that's the common theme for kicking off Junk Journal July today. I will leave links to all of the other channels, and I think we have a playlist of all of the projects, so I'll link that down in the description box down below. My favourite supply, I think I decided, was a book page, and that's what I'm using today to make these side tie pockets. And they're my favourite because they're accessible for so many of us. They're readily available and they're cheap. They're easy to play with. They come in lots of varieties. So we get modern, vintage, matte, shiny, coloured, ones with beautiful text, all sorts. I'm going to use just a large book page today. It's relatively thick. Let me tell you the dimensions. So this one is about 22 centimetres just over in width. So that is 8 3/4 inches, and the height of this one is just under 30 centimetres, which is just over 11.5 inches. And what we need to do to make these side tie pockets, to begin with, this one's quite a fun one, is turn the book page on its side. So we want it to be horizontal landscape, I think is the phrase, as opposed to portrait. And what we're going to do is, I want to have my rough edge at the top, we're going to create the 2 flaps, so the left and the right. And to do that we need to just make a little mark at 1/3 of the width along here, so we can fold one of these in. So mine was just under 30 centimetres, I think. So I'm going to make a mark at just under 10, yeah. And where I've made a mark, I'm just going to make a fold and make a jolly good crease. So let's make that fold, get it lined up, make it quite neat, and press that down. And that's going to be my front flap. And then I want to fold this flap in, but I don't want to fold all the way to here. I want to leave a tiny little excess gap. So I find the easiest way to do that is to turn the sheet of paper over and just fold that in. So I'll fold it back on itself in a second. So I'm making sure that this flap doesn't completely butt up to this one. In fact, you can see there's just a little bit of excess here peeping through. So I'll turn that back on itself, and that will be my right flap, which I took underneath, and I choose to put my left on top. And we're already cruising through step number 2. So we've folded the left hand side in at the mark, and we've folded the right. And we're going to make 2 of these little, I call them shirt collars. We need to make these shirt collars and the 3 pockets on the back. So let's have a go at that. Really easy, it's just folding. So fold my top right hand point, my corner here, fold that down, and I don't go all the way to the edge, but I am going to give a nice sharp crease. There we go. Bone folder back like that, and I'm going to give this one a little shirt collar too. So I'll fold that down. Again, not quite to the edge. I quite like to see a little bit of the text behind on that page. That's quite nice, but I do want them to be nice and sharp and get them as precise as possible, in that this should really be a right angle. So again, on this page, we should really have a nice positioning of the 2 there. So that looks good. Now what we want to do is fold our pockets. So we're going to get 3 pockets on these. We've got one here, here and here. Lovely birds. So I will open it up, and with the shirt collars facing me, I'm going to fold up the bottom, and I want to fold up enough to create a pocket, but I'm also going to put a bit of fancy washi tape here. You might want to put paper down, but I want enough space left as well to be able to see a little bit of that. So about there is fine. So you'll be able to work it out from whatever piece of paper you have. And that is pretty much the folding done. What I suggest at this stage is you go back and reintroduce the creases. So bring the right hand side over, and it will resist a bit and pull up. Take your bone folder and just squish that down again. It's that extra fold of 3 pockets at the bottom that's just making the paper want to pull up. So I'll do the same with this one. We've not done anything wrong, it's just pulling up. There's a bit of resistance. Let's put that down flat, give that a bit of another fold, get that back in. Just needs a little bit more help. So now we've got the basics of our pocket done. That means we've done step 2 already, and it's time to decorate the outside of the pocket. We'll do first, and then we'll decorate the interior. You can decorate these with pretty much anything. I thought I'd ring the changes when I made up these samples and use a little bit of blue and maybe a beautiful vintage colour, and I think those go together really well. Partly I was influenced by the book page that I had. I had this gorgeous sheet of digital with these beautiful birds on, so I carried on with some of that blue on the inside and here. So what we want to do is take our sheet of folded paper and decorate the outside. So if you were to fold in and turn it over, we want to decorate this back piece here, and we also want to decorate the upturned pockets, these 3 that we've made. And just to speed things up a little bit, I thought I would have one that's been taken to a slightly more advanced stage. In fact, I think this one is actually made with the magazine. So I've covered each of the 3 pockets with just a little bit of scrap. I like to have a little bit of a border around each of these little pieces, so as I can see the essence of the book page or the magazine page behind. And similarly, when I've added this piece in the middle, I've also left a tiny little 1mm border just around the piece of paper. In fact, let me show you the papers that I've used, and then you can see the beauty of them. So these are actually a new selection from a friend of mine, Antonio. You might know him, Antonio Makes. And I just thought some of these were gorgeous. That just looks stunning. I think that'll be great for lots of different pages in Junk Journal July. So I've been using this one. I had a really good look through his new collection. This one that looks a bit like tiles. This one that's already got collage. I like the colours. I like the limey greens, very fresh, and we've got some music paper blended in. And as I say, I've been using this one with birds. I like the blue, And I have got a link to these if you're interested, and a discount code in the video description box. So if you want to play with these fresh blues and greens and some new papers, then check those out. What I will do is carry on decorating the back, and I'm at the stage of needing to just put some paper on the shirt collars. And I wanted to show you a little tip for how I go about doing that. Obviously we've got these awkward little triangles. So all I've done is take a piece of paper and measure out the size of the triangle, literally just fold, so that when I cut this it will be just a little bit smaller than the triangle. But I just wanted to show you the way I cut it is not with a pair of scissors, because I never get it quite at the starting point of the fold. I take a knife and hold it very flat on the table, obviously pointing the knife away from you. Use your knife to cut on this occasion. And that means I should have a piece of paper that's nicely trimmed and fits on one of my little shirt collars here. So let's get one of those on. Because what I've done by folding this little side tie pocket is create a couple of triangles, which aren't the easiest things to cover. So that can go on there, and I'm just going to do the same on the other side. So it'll never be 100% perfect, the triangle, but it seems to work pretty well, this. Then I've got to get another one over here, and again I'll leave a little bit of a gap around the triangle. So all I need to do on this one is just trim across. So I'll go for one that's a little bit smaller on my shirt collar, fold that back, and again, because I want that to be super neat, I'm just going to use my craft knife, get it going, hold your knife really flat, and just cut that off. Get some glue on the back. I'm using my glue stick as opposed to a liquid glue. And then I will cover my shirt collar with that. And I can see I've got some pencil marks on the paper, which obviously I can now remove. That can go there. Just going to take any little marks off. We're doing really well. And underneath these flaps, what I've been doing is adding a little bit of washi with foil. In fact, this is a really beautiful one. It's got gorgeous waves from the sea. Got a little bit of glittery foil there, which I really like. So I'm going to add a couple of pieces under here. So I've actually found one that kind of goes in the same blues and greens. I don't measure the width with a ruler to do this. Just take a piece, maybe hold it upside down to assess roughly. And the reason I like doing this with washi is it doesn't mean that this crease gets covered too much with another piece of paper. So just literally get that underneath there. It covers up a little bit of what we've got here, but I can also get to see something. I'll do the same on the other side, and it's quick. And we get to play with washi. I have a little abundance of washi at the moment. This particular one is the Washi Tape Shop, and I have had some questions actually about projects where we use washi and the washi isn't always as strong as you might want it to be. This foiled washi from the Washi Tape Shop is very strong. Come a bit short there, but I don't think it matters. And if you do need a strong washi tape, I would very much recommend the Washi Tape Shop foiled tapes. I do know that they vary in strength and the glue. I don't like to add glue myself. I'd rather choose a different washi tape in the first place. So where are we up to? Let's check. We are cruising through. So we have decorated the middle and the 3 pockets on the outside. We've added washi under the flaps. I can now glue those pockets in place. That's these. I'll add a bit more washi at the side to bolster them, and I'm just going to add a few faux stitches on my shirt collars. So I need another bit of washi, maybe something neutral, not too much of it, just a little piece, and I'll tear that in half. Take my glue, just put some glue on the ends of these pockets to help. I don't think this would be enough if it was on its own. So I just take my washi tape, and with the rough edge, and that's what I want to see, that can go there on the end. Curve that round, do the same on the other end. Again, it's foiled washi tape, so it's stronger, it's wide, and I've halved it. I'm going to glue these two shirt collars down just with my glue. And then I'm going to add a bit of faux stitching just to go with that sort of shirt collar theme, because I think it works. So here's a couple of examples. So you can see I've used quite interesting patterns on this one. There's my faux stitching. I did a bit on this one too. So I just need a pen that will match or maybe enhance the shirt collar that I've got. Brown's always good, isn't it? Shall we have a brown down here, or maybe a blue? Let's go for a dark blue. So these are my Inkonic pens from Arteza. Let's have a blue. This is the 48 pen set. I'm just missing one. Lovely colours though, really love the colours. So nice blue, and I'm going to just do a little bit of faux stitching round my shirt collar. Very easy to get the back of this done, and then we'll move on to the decoration of the interior. I did show my collection of books in a video recently. If you haven't seen it, I will also link that. So I've done a little bit of disclosure of how I've been organising supplies in my room, if you're interested in seeing that. So that, I think, is most of the back done. Let's move on to the middle. Let's see what we need to do. So we need to decorate the left hand side and add a little pocket. I'll show you how to do that. It's very, very easy. We're going to decorate the middle and add a little pocket. Again, a simple one, really easy, and a little bit of collage. They turn out different every time, but that really is part of the fun. Oh, I love it. I love the gold foil and the birds. It's just something that works. So I need a piece of paper to cover this piece. Let's go for something in my basket. So shall we carry on? That's nice. Shall we carry on with a little bit of the vintage? Maybe we'll have some of that one in the middle because it looks like tiles. Maybe some of the collage on the left. That's a good height, that works. Right, I'm going to put some of this K&Co scrap. Take a piece off this to begin with, just a rectangular piece, and then I'll deal with the slant that we've created from the shirt collar, which means that I need a slope to go down to about there. So all I need to do is fold from the dot I've made back up to the top. If I tear that off, in fact I'll use my knife again in the same way, then I should have, see if this works, I should have a piece of paper that will fit in there, which I do. I can take off my little pencil dot and glue that down. Now what I need to do is just grab a little book page in some lightweight paper, cut it down to size and make this little pocket here. It's very, very easy. So we want to make a little pocket that will sit neatly on the left, and that means it needs to be no higher than this side of our front flap. So I just need to cut down a piece of paper so that when it's folded over it's double that height. I'll show you what I mean. So I've grabbed a page from a dictionary. I think it's a Spanish dictionary. And the paper's quite thin, which is quite useful because we don't want this to come out too deep when we fold over all the flaps. I basically want a piece of paper that will make our pocket, and the piece of paper is going to be folded into 4, so it will be 1/4 the size, and therefore we need this entire piece to be twice the height and as wide as you want. I don't want to cover up all of this, so I've got a piece of paper that when folded we can use to make our pocket here. The first thing we want to do is fold our top left corner in a little bit to make a little fold, baby bear. And then I want to take my bottom right and fold that in, but I want this one to be a bigger fold, take up a bigger proportion of that bottom right hand corner. Then I'm going to cut along the fold that I'd made in the middle here. And again, I think it will be better if I cut rather than tear, just because the paper is so light and I've already made a bit of a mess. Let's just see if we can get back on track. So I now have a piece of paper with a small fold here and a larger fold there. I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to fold that up, and I'm going to turn it over and stick this onto the back there. So get your glue out. I don't think it matters visually that it looks a bit tatty, as long as the fold works and it comes flat. So I'll just stick that down. Turn it over and we've got a pocket with a space here, a space here and a bit of a mess here. So I think what I'll do is just trim that off. That's fine, that looks better. And I'm going to take my corner rounder, get rid of that pointy corner, and that can just stick on here. So it wasn't too difficult, was it? Basically, we found a piece of thin book page. We measure the height of this, double it, and that's going to be the height of your square. Just create a square to turn into your little pocket. And that goes in there. And I've done it in a way where the access to the pocket comes from here. In fact, while I'm at it, I'm going to see if I can stick something interesting underneath. Let's just grab a little something or other just to make that more interesting. So before the glue dries completely, I'm just going to get a little label under there for interest. Let's have something under there. I like that. And while we're at it, I might just tuck a few little items in it. So this is one of the pots that sits above my desk, which again, I talked you through in that video on organisation. So we can just steal a few items from here very easily. Most of these are cut out. That looks really nice. Can we have it that way? Yeah. Covering up a lot of my label. I don't think that matters. Oh, that's nice. Just a few little bits of ephemera. Right, now let's move on to the collage and the focal point on the right hand side. This is easy. The hard work's done, I promise you. On here, I don't really measure and fill it in neatly. So taking a bit of my nice collage paper. So this is collage paper from Amazon packing paper. Again, I've got a video just showing how I've made this. That can go on. And on this side, I like to add a face. What do we think? It's quite a big one. So what have we got in our pot? Oh, she's a bit severe. Yeah, I like that. Maybe just fold that back. Glue it down. We'll get that on. So it's a great project for collage if you like a bit of sticking. I definitely do. So I'll have that there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to just add a teeny tiny bit of something to blur the edges on those lines. That was nice and quick, wasn't it? They help, those little cutters. So I'm going really quickly here, but you get the gist of it. So now we collage in the middle and add a simple pocket. So I think I will choose from those lovely papers that I showed you. So I could go for the tiled effect, which is really nice. Well, the other page of Antonio's I've been using a lot is this gorgeous. It's already collage for you and it's in beautiful colours. I think I'm going to go for this one because it's got a lot going on. So I'll tear a piece off that. Tear that down. That actually goes really well with the little piece of paper that I use for the collars. I'm very happy with that. I like this bit down here. I think all I'll do is... I'm going to cut it, or rather tear it, again to leave a tiny bit of a border around it. And I think that just goes with the aesthetic of this pocket, that it's about collage, it's about using book pages and magazines, it's about using scraps as well as our digitals if you want to. I'm just going to fill that in. Again, you could do this with little pieces of scrap paper too if you wanted. You could do it with several pieces of paper. I'm just working a bit quickly here. Again, I'm going to take off that little bit of pencil. And now I want to add a flap pocket. So I want to add something of interest here that I can put things in. And for that, I'm going to use another book page. So I thought I'd use my Reader's Digest Wildflowers of Britain book. And I just need one page from here. Now the page that you need, or the piece of paper that you need for making this little interactive pocket in the middle obviously needs to be a lot smaller than the ones that we started with. So I've taken a book page that's wider than it is tall, one that will make a nice size pocket when I've roughly folded it over. So have a think about what sort of book page you want to use. Can you get one with some colours on that go with the rest of your collage, for example? So I'm going to add a flap along one vertical side. Obviously choose which of the sides of your book page you want to be the exterior so you see as many beautiful images as possible. Then I'm going to take this other edge and fold that over. That flap just allows me to have a really neat pocket with easy access for putting things in. Open it up and then fold this bottom edge up. Let's just get that up. You want enough flap that you can use glue to stick. That's really what the requirement is for how wide these flaps are. Let's do a little bit of cutting. I'm going to take out the rectangle that we created. I've made these pockets so many times. I don't like those scissors. I'm going to take a little piece of pie out of the middle. I'm going to take a little sliver off the end, and while I remember, at the top of this flap that we created, just take a tiny bit off the top so that if we don't fold and glue unbelievably neatly, we're not going to have a little bit sticking out. Glue stick goes first along the bottom flap that's furthest away from the vertical. That's just the way I do it. Stick that down, and then I want a tiny bit of glue at the bottom of my vertical flap just to keep that in place when I fold it up, and then I can go for glue here and here, here and here. Fold that over. And what I like to do is just add a little bit of a, let's show you, a little bit of a semicircle here, which I can still do even when I've glued it down. Let me find my little hole. Little hole punch here. Yeah, I think I'll have that on the front. You could measure I might do this by eye. Oops. There, that's okay. And then this is going to go into here and be held with a piece of strong washi tape. So back to my washi tape, foiled washi tape, and I need to put a piece down here. I found one with a little bit more of my gold foil on, so I think I'll use this. And some of these oranges marry up and match nicely with this paper here. So I'll just take a piece of that off. Again, I'm not going to cut it, and I'll keep this bit going on the back because it makes it easier to pull this off. If you cut with a pair of scissors, it's harder to peel. That's what I've found anyway. So I'm going to put this on the side of my pocket. And then I'm going to glue it into here. There's a bit of technique with this. So I want it flat like that when it's stuck in. In fact, while I remember, let's give it some nice corners. Ooh, should have done this before I put my washi on. Oh, it's okay. I think we'll get there. It's one of those days, isn't it? One of those days. So hold back your washi tape at both ends, fold it back and hold it flat, and then position the pocket where you want it to be, like that, and press down firmly. I don't think I need washi on both sides, I'm happy with that. A little bit tuck under, and we have our interactive flap ready to be filled with goodies as well. How good is that? So time to add my string. Let's find our needle and a ball of string. I'm just using regular household string. You could take the opportunity to use narrow ribbon if you want to, but I think string works really well. I also used wool on one of them. What you need is a piece of string that is about 6 times the width of this pocket. 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need to make 2 holes. I'm just going to do that with my darning needle, and the holes need to be just on the right hand side here in the crease, and you want them to be quite low down, so they need to not be outside of this height. So you don't want it coming across here, you want the holes to be in the height of the pocket that we've turned up. So maybe in 1 centimetre and in another centimetre, that should do. And I will start by threading the string onto the pocket from the outside. So needle and string, find the higher hole, so the hole that's nearer to this than the bottom, bring that through, and then I just go back through from the inside. Really easy. I'm going to add a cute little airmail note in my interactive pocket, fold it over, one, two. I've got plenty of string at the right hand side here to just tie a bow. Side tie pockets using my favourite supplies. Check out all of the other videos in this collaboration and join me and Meg Journals in Junk Journal July. I hope to see you soon.